Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another stream. I have returned once more. However, I have apparently turned sick. I forgot to measure my temperature. I just noticed, which is stupid because that's something that I just wanted to do before I get up here. Oh my god! So I'm sick and sleepy, even though I've slept for like 12 hours. Apparently that is because I'm so sick. No, I didn't even know. I didn't have a fever this morning, so I don't even know. In any case, today we're going to work on this. What is this? This is the homepage of Blockbench. And that actually is what we're going to be using today. So I don't even know how this works, so we're just gonna try. Here's the installation by the way we show it. What? There's a Blockbench mobile app. That is actually sick. That is actually sick. Wait, how does it sound when I clean my nose? I've never tried this. I've never been sick. Actually, let me correct myself. I have been sick, but not with this microphone. Which is crazy, because I got that shit like exactly 3 months ago. On the day, by the way. I believe. Or maybe not. No, I believe it was not on the day, but like... plus minus 1 or 2 days. I believe maybe 1 day in advance. Maybe 1 day in advance of today. 3 months ago. So, what are we doing even? I don't even know what we are doing. But I do know that web app, that is actually pretty sick that they have a web app. 2 gigabytes of empty storage space. How massive is Blockbench, bro? We're just going to install. I could have probably installed this. I also have Magica Voxel, which is pretty much Blockbench, except it's a bit different. And I am not sure. I've wanted to after, obviously, or maybe not obviously, or maybe not after, but maybe it will overlap a tiny bit. But I want to focus on the mod for now. And something else that has something to do with the mod relatively closely. And something else that has nothing to do with either of those. And something that I've been wanting to do since I'm like 15. Which is making my own video game. And I've been grinding and filing on this idea, and I've not seen a game like it. Maybe there is. Maybe I'm just not noticing it because the idea is different, like executed in a different way or art style basically, or with different assets, but I'm not going to explain too much because who knows who's listening, right? I will maybe talk about it once I have a first version done. So yes, install. That actually is installing pretty well, so that is okay. In any case, what the game that I've been thinking about making is basically ooh, there we go, Blockbench. Let's freaking go. That's pretty cool. What is contrast? Oh no, contrast looks like shite. We're going dark. This looks really like a coding, like an IDE of some sort. Why is it in German? We have English. Wait, did that change anything? Oh, I have to restart. Yeah, restart. Perfect. So, but now the settings just gone. Okay. Shake model. Image. There is a 2D image. Why is every single program that has a 3D, that is 3D, Magica Voxel, which is the program that I want to be using for my game, if I don't use this, because as far as I know, Blockbench actually makes it easier to make stuff that is not quite just pixels, and in some sort, in some ways that actually looks better. As you can see here, that looks much nicer. Some of these things, like I believe this is just an extruded square cylinder. Like it's not a rectangle. I don't know what the word for a 3-dimensional rectangle is in English. That isn't a cube. But some of these aren't actually just squares and pixels like these apples and shit. And I believe it is easier, if you know the medium, to make convincing 3D models. If you have access to something like this is actually very similar to the art style of these images here. All have kind of a resemblance to the art style of which is a hide and seek game that is not extremely widely known, I believe, but it is a pretty fun game. But in any case, Witchit as well uses a pixel style, however non-pixelated 3D models, more a low poly style 3D modeling style and pixelated. This kind of has more of that pixelated style, I believe. Maybe that just feels like it because of the textures, however these are also very pixelated. And I'm not sure if I want to go the low poly pixelated texture way, or if I want to go the actually just built from literal cubes, because the issue is the export of these cubed 3D models actually does make every single cube a single mesh, I believe. So they have no real inner skin, outer skin like a traditional 3D model. They have just cubes. Maybe that is wrong. Maybe I've just been exporting my files the wrong way, but I believe I always exported those as OBJs. You can edit Minecraft skins, that is pretty cool. But in any case, Modded entity Java class file. Now that is the question. Do we need a block/item? Because that could just be... Wait, is that what they use at Minecraft? Blockbench to create their textures? Or if that is what they actually use, then that would be crazy. Now the question is, do we need an entity model or do we need a Java block item? I will just create a block item.
Kleine Frage. Deine Passwörter, deine WhatsApp-Nachrichten und deine ganz persönlichen Ferienfotos, kann ich
Yes.
mitnehmen?
So the issue is that I actually have no idea which one to use. Because interestingly enough, this is a different thing that I've been doing. I have CAD work in the most basic CADs to more actual CADs that are very much more advanced, however, that still allow for very basic things to be done relatively easily. AKA Onshape. I've been using 3D Builder, then I've used Magic Voxel. Before Onshape, then I've used Onshape. I've never touched how is it called? The other online CAD. That like everyone uses. That probably has never heard of Onshape or is too lazy to switch. I went from the most basic CAD and I had Onshape in like an hour. Because it was such a simple and easy to grasp way, and that actually means something. It is like so simple. I've wanted to download like, I don't even know, Autodesk Fusion 360 and I didn't even get past the installer. Because of licenses, shit. Even though I believe it could be free, however, I'm not sure how to make it or get it free. It's way too difficult. I don't. In any case, we'll create a new model and we're just going to try. We need this for... Oh no, there's different format versions. Why did they change everything after the versions I'm working in? Surface UV, box UV. What does that mean? Bruh. UV size. Now I believe we don't want to make a big ass texture. Wait, let me find some. No, actually, let me find something else. If we go to my files, yes, I will go to my files, and I will go to the link I've made to my mod, no, not my mods, to my Minecraft folder, and I will search for resource packs and my 2111 template and my assets and my Minecraft and my textures and my block. Now there is the how is that shit called? A conduit, I believe. Yes, if we look at the conduit PNG and look at it, it is very small. We can open the info. And it should have like 15 by... It is a 16 by 16 pixel. Okay, that is interesting. Now, what is the size of a skeleton, for example, of a skeleton head? If we go to entity and we go find a something that has a head. Where do we have one? Skeleton definitely does have a head. So we're going to use the regular skeleton. Now this is well, it is anti-aliasing, of course, but what is the size of this texture? We're going to quickly open this in paint.net and then we're going to look at what the actual size of it is, because I believe that mob heads could have a lower res. I believe skins actually don't have... Ah, now, dude. Yes, see, it's 8 by 8. So, well, this is deep fried again because of my HDR settings. In any case, that means mob heads have a texture of 8 by 8. The conduit, however, has 16 by 16. A chest also has 16 by 16. I believe all blocks except for mob heads have 16 by 16 textures. That is most likely the case. And thus I will have to probably use 16 by 16. File name. Now I don't want to make different present colors, I believe, because we know how that turned out with the eggs. I will just make the one present that exists. I mean, chests also don't only have one wood color. Most blocks only have one color. That aren't crafted in different ways. And I really do not want to add 16 different crafting recipes for gifts. And then some for every item. They would share textures, of course. Of course they would. But they wouldn't share the code that I'd have to manually write. Now I could automate this with like a script, but writing that would again take ages. So I'm not going to do that. I could also do it with, like, I don't know, anything basically, but we're going to try this. How did I call it? I think I called it empty present. I will just call it present. And the other one like present underscore empty. Or actually let me look at IntelliJ so I don't pick that up. It would be nice if we had like a some sort of a well, what do I know? Some sort of a consistency. Yeah, see, that has a template skull. We don't need that actually open anymore. But the yeah, mod blocks, in fact, it has present underscore empty. Yes, it does. I already have that plugin, I'm pretty sure. In any case, We're going to make present. I'll name present. It has FPS counters down here. I freaking bollical. What is ambient occlusion? I don't even know. I forgot what it means. I knew it at one point. Got it. So we're going to call it present because I don't want to do present empty just yet. I'm going to create present empty after present. So we're going to do present first. As a matter of fact. So we're going to turn. So how do I... Okay, this is interesting controls. Can I make a... Can I create some? How the hell? What element? But that is that. How big do we actually make this? But if make it 12 is 12. Oh yeah, no, 12. 12 by 12. Yes, in fact, 12 by 12 by 12, we're just making it a cube. We're going to position transform to 20 to... Oh, I keep getting that Z is different in Minecraft than every other program. So this doesn't have a texture. The pivot point... I don't even know, bro. I don't even know what the pivot point does. So we have cube. We probably need a... Yeah, we probably need a larger UV. Actually... We definitely need a larger UV. Because we need 16 by 16 by another 16 by another 16. So the question is, how do I make this? I believe I want to make all the edges the same. And then the top and the bottom different, because they need to be different. So honestly, I need either a texture that is 16 by... I don't even know. 16 by 48. Which would be a very difficult, weird texture. We're just going to do a 16 by 48 textures. Oh, it is 16 by 48 that way. We're going to make it 48 by 16. I like it more that way. They're actually going to apply to all faces. What the fuck? Can I draw? Create texture. Pixel density 16x color. You know what? We're just going to create a quick texture. Actually, I'm serious. We're going to open Paint and it's going to ask me to... I don't even know. To do something. In any case, we're not going to do that. We're going to change this to 48 by 16. And that should be a good texture. Now, this is a very small texture, of course. Now, I will make the entire texture just like... I believe the book had it be blue. We'll quickly find out what the book said. Where the hell could that be? Documents. That would be crafting alliances. And that would be somewhere here, right? Perfect. It is blue. And it is actually not as tall as it is wide. Which is fairly interesting. Which also means the texture changes. We're only going to make it 10. Make it 10 in height. That would be a very unique block. However, that means 10 instead of 12 is not working. Because we can do 16 to 12. That would be 3/4 of that. However, 10 to 16 is not the same ratio. So I need to quickly calculate that on my phone because I already have it in my hands. So 12 divided by 16 means we have a pixel density of 0.75. That is 3/4. So if multiplying this by so the pixels are 0.75 pixels wide. So 0.75. Should we do this differently? Oh my god, this is difficult. This is 16 divided by 12 means 1 pixel is 1 pixel covers 133 million thousands of pixels. By 12 is 16. By 9 on 10 that is 13.3. That doesn't work. 9 works. 11 doesn't work. Of course 8 also doesn't. 7 also doesn't, but 6 works. So only every third works. So we can do it 9 in height. So the gift block would look like this when placed. I don't know if that is too large, but it does look exactly like the image in the book, which I can quickly show here. There, it has that format. So we're going to change the textures 9 by 12 now, so that would be equivalent to 12 by 16. If 12 by 48. If I'm not stupid. But due to the texture now being ultra wide, if I do that, I mean, look at that. That is a very wide texture, is it not? Oh, that also doesn't actually work, so we need to keep it that way. But good thing we talked about it, because we only need to remove a 32 by 4 here, so that would be the bottom texture. Actually, I may be stupid. We actually only need to remove all that I haven't removed. This is how the texture will look. So this would basically be the side of the texture. I'm just going to make a very, very rough texture. Original has a these are just the most blatantly default colors that I could find. I need to quickly select 16 by 16 so I don't fuck that up. This is basically the bottom of the texture. Oh shit. That would be the bottom, and then we're going to make the top, which I could have just connected. Probably here. It is in fact not there. It's here. And we're just going to make like a something. Going to make like this as the top of it, even though it doesn't actually have that. So the top and the bottom could actually be the same texture, in fact. Well, who cares? We're going to work on this. Maybe we're going to change stuff. I'm going to make the bottom just darker. Yeah. We're just going to leave it as is. We're going to save this as PNG. That is going to be called present. And we're just going to save that on my desktop because I can. Now, automatic, please. No! No! I just want to close you. No, cancel. Now, we can import a texture. Yes. My desktop called present. What? Ignore.
Zum WM-Countdown beim Mediamarkt. Da gibt's 70 Tage vor der WM 70 bis 80 Zoll TV.
Wait, what are we doing? Why are we... Why is it doing that? Finally, bro. Great. This is textured. Is this really how it is? Is this really Blockbench, people? Wow. I mean, I don't need the texture to be any more crazy than this. If I can edit it outside, that is enough. But I believe I want this to be a bit more crazy, if you all know what I mean. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to make the size of it too small. Can I do that? I believe I cannot do that. I'd have to make it 3 smaller. And thus this here would be different. This would have to be 9. It's 16 by 12 now. Well, it was 9 high. 9 and 12 are dividable by 3. Yeah. And that means it's going to be 8. For east as well. For south as well. For west as well. Then we add another cube that has a size of well, now this is stupid. Because we don't have the pixels. Oh. I can probably not do 2.2, can I? Oh, it can. That actually makes this a bit easier. However, at the same time, it is stupid. But actually it isn't. Actually it may not be. It may not be stupid. Because what if we make this one 12 by whatever it has to be, 3 by 12 with a pivot point that I don't even know where we want this to be. For rotation, nothing. Position, we need to go up and over and forward. Now, what if we take this and we make it 11 by 11? And we move it 2.5 and 2.5. That actually looks like a pretty decent present to me. I believe. Which means this cube doesn't actually need a top texture. Oh. Oh, does it need one? It probably does need one. Well, it doesn't matter.
No cap, unsere Generation kann wirklich etwas bewegen. Wenn du checkst, wie Entscheidungen in Unternehmen wirken, wird klar, Wirtschaft ist ein Hebel für
Wait a minute. So what if I... This is going to be difficult. A 0.5 texture. Oh, this is the same ratio. Oh, now it gets difficult. Oh my god. As if I texture you now. Doesn't actually look that off. Can we get through with that? Or do we just make that bigger than 11? Do we even have anything like this in Minecraft that has like weird off pixel shit? I hardly believe it. Maybe I should just change the texture to be lower res. The actual resolution of the freaking thing. But then again, does this look decent if we make it 10 by 10? Or is it just too small? Yeah, it doesn't look... It is very stupid, because this looks shit. While this is shit to texture, but looks better. And this probably looks the worst of all. Oh, this is actually trash. We need to work out something here. I mean, texture stretching is nothing new and we could make this work. Technically. No, up needs... Oh frick, what did I do here? This is down and this is up. So the down texture is... Down texture is actually the bottom. Okay, that is interesting. Good. Okay, that actually doesn't look bad. The slight pixel mismatch here. Ah. We can work with this. Yes, yes we can work with this. And it actually looks pretty decent as is already. You see the little bit of texturing and we're good. Barely needs any probably. Very simple texture, right? Perfect. Now, I don't even know if we need to make this pivotable because I believe it doesn't fit on the space. So we're just going to make it a simple block, most likely. This is where paint is. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna do that. We're gonna do that outside of this. What the fuck? I mean, it looks fine everywhere. It really does. Except here. How large effectively is... Default block, there we go. Ew. Wait, are blocks do really just display this way? Of course, of course. Okay. Now, if this works, bros, if this works, we're going to actually copy this, and we're going to make it the... It's going to make a present. And we're going to make it present. Just a test block present. Alright. Now this means... What is it, block states? Me Bombo, in fact. The hell? There we go. Does this also exist here? Does. Actually, need present JSON in here. I don't need to import present JSON. What the hell? Oh, yo. If I open this... Yes, there is... Wait, do you actually consider working on that? Well, wow, what have I opened? I have opened items. Block, sure, block. I believe... What? Maybe that works too, actually. But for this... Isn't there an... Yeah, a texture, exactly. So there should be this... This is a bit difficult. It's a bit difficult, bruv. Because this is referencing block present, right? So the block... This... yes, exactly. So I believe... that we actually need the block states one to be in here, and this... So it actually needs to be here. And then we actually need the block state present here. Okay, override. So block states and items should be the same. For sugar, block states and item is not the same. This is items present. This is items sugar block. Okay. Items present actually needs sugar block. Needs to be present. Oh, this is stupid. Now we should have these correct. Yes, present is correct here, and here we should have these. Yeah, this should be everything actually. Oh my god. Can we run this? They should all reference the same lock. If I get a crash now, we're cooked. Yeah. Yes. It's running. It didn't crash. Oh my god. Missing model for yeah, we don't care about that. Missing model for block variant. I don't care. I don't need the present. Wait, for present? No, I'm ready for example block. There's no. Huh. Yeah, that is interesting. That is what the fuck? Why does that happen? Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Oh, can you see the hitbox here? Oh no. Oh no. So the model works. Wait, could this... No. Okay. Could this be some sort of an issue?
Bittersweet and I'm walking slow. Sensitive, feel the afterglow. Looking for things that I can't control. Fear from my past, cause it always shows. Do I wanna try? Can I let it go? Running from the past, wanting to be sure. Chaos in my mind, constant deja vu.
Wavy, wavy.
Blacking out, afraid just fading day by day. I'm reaching out for someone who can take away the pain I feel, the things I haven't done at all. I've lost my way, but how I felt I can't recall. Do I wanna try? Can I let it go? Running from the past, wanting to be sure. Chaos in my mind, constant deja vu. But every time it comes back to you. Whoa, I'm still falling. Whoa, but it tastes bittersweet. Whoa, I keep on falling. Whoa, I like the taste of it. Whoa, I'm still falling. Whoa, but it tastes bittersweet.
Maybe I should just watch the YouTube tutorial of my goat Kaupen Joe. Let me see. I've asked chat, so that is that up there. However, that isn't very useful. What the fuck, bro? Freaking YouTube, man. Where is it? Which one is it? It is Fabric Modding Tutorials. Now, because this shit on full screen does very stupid.
Modding for 121 with Fabric. 121 Minecraft modding courses available down below, with over 11 hours of content covering everything from the basics all the way to block entities and custom.
Yeah, so we need custom non-block blocks, which should have like trapdoors and doors on it. It doesn't. Custom non-block block. Yeah, there.
Let's add stairs, doors, and other non-block blocks to
Thank you.
Minecraft. 121 Minecraft modding courses available down below, with over 11 hours of content covering everything from the basics all the way to block entities and it's going to be a custom button, a custom pressure. Entities and custom mobs. Alright, we found some back into once more, and in this tutorial we're going to be adding non-block blocks to the game. Now when I say non-block blocks, I mean, and this is going to be the exhaustive list, so the entire list of things we're going to add today is going to be stairs, it's going to be custom slab, it's going to be a custom button, a custom pressure plate, a custom fence gate, a custom wall, a custom door, a custom trap door. Those are all the non-block blocks, as I like to call them, and the reason I call them non-block blocks is, well, I mean, they're blocks, right? They do act as blocks, but they don't look like blocks. So, therefore, they are non-block blocks. Simple as that. Now, for those, it's actually fairly straightforward. As always, of course, all of the code is linked in the description in the GitHub repository. And let's start by actually simply getting all of those blocks registered in our mod blocks class. And this is all going to start with a public static final block. And this is going to be the pink_garnet_stairs. Stairs, there you go, equal to the register block method, passing in the name, which is going to be pink_garnet_stairs. And the second parameter is going to be a new stairs block. Passing in the first parameter here is going to be modblocks.pinkgarnetBlock.getDefaultBlockState. And the second parameter is going to be the settings.create. And then I'm going to do a strength of, let's say, 2 and a requires tool call. And there we go. And then we're going to duplicate some stuff. So we're going to duplicate this once, and then we have another pair of 2. And then we're going to have actually not only a pair, but 3 of them together. And then lastly, 2 more. That is correct. And we're going to start at the top and work our way down. The second thing is the pink garnet slab. And here the pink garnet slab, which is going to be a slab block, which only requires the abstract settings right here. That's all fine. Then we get the button. So we have the pink garnet button and the pink garnet button here as well, which is going to be a, can you guess it, a button block with its first parameter being a block set type, in this case iron, then an integer, which is going to be how many ticks this stays pressed for. Let's do something crazy and do 2. In another tutorial on, I think in Forge, I did 1. 1 did not quite work out the way that I expected to, but 2 should be okay. And then here, we also want to call for the button.
That's crazy.
No collision over here. This is quite important because a button actually does not have any collision. So, you know, that's why we call it basically. And then we get to the pressure plate. So this is the pink underscore garnet underscore pressure underscore plate. Quite a long name, but it does describe what it is very well. And it is a pressure plate block. Here, once again, as the first parameter, a block set type. So block set type iron. Then this
is very
act
interesting.
as iron, by the way. You can, of course, change the block set type to something else. Highly recommended to also go into the different methods over here and just, or rather classes, and just take a look at what they offer you in terms of methods to override or change, anything like that. The pink garnet underscore fence is the next one. And then we have the fence right here as well. And this is going to be a fence block over here. There we go, with only one parameter, and that is going to be the abstract settings. Then we have the fence gate, which is going to be the pink underscore garnet underscore fence underscore gate, and same here, fence underscore gate. And this is going to be the fence gate block. There we go, which actually has as its first parameter a wood type. I'm going to say wood type.acacia. The reason why this is the case is because all fence gates are wooden that exist in vanilla. And I guess that just means that every one of them has a wood type. It doesn't really change anything, so you can literally just put in the acacia right here, and you're good to go. When it comes to the next one, we have the wall. So this is going to be the pink underscore garnet underscore wall, and here the same thing goes. And this is going to be the wall block, which only also has the abstract block settings, and that is it. And then we get to the 2 crazy guys over here. That's going to be the door. So this is the pink underscore garnet underscore door. And of course, once again, don't forget to change the name over here. We've copied over a lot of stuff. This is going to be a door block with its first parameter being, once again, a block set type. We're going to choose iron again. And then here it is extremely important that we call the non-opaque method. This one right here, extremely important. The same thing goes for the next one, which is going to be the trapdoor. I'll explain why this is important in a second. Let's just add the trapdoor, and then we'll see trapdoor. There we go. But this is a trapdoor block with the first parameter being also the block set type. So this is going to
wait, what is important?
In a second. Goes for the next one, which is going to be the trapdoor. I'll explain why this is important in a second. Let's just add the trap.
Oh, the non-opaque. Wait, this could actually just be what I need. Not non-opaque. Can I just do this in mod blocks? Like, wait, let me. Dot non-block. Dot opaque. Oh, that works. It does work. So by having this, that should already fix the floor clipping thing. Now we just need to fix the hitbox. And that is not really a very crazily important thing. So I believe if we can get this to work, then we're good to go. So if I join this and I place the block, we should have a non-opaque block, does not see the floor. Mi bombo. It actually works. The issue now, the hitbox. And then we can change texture and then we're good to go. I believe this is a very nice size of a block. I think. Though I am not sure if making the bottom of it actually this size is smart, or if we should have made the top half a half block. Because there's no other blocks that do this, as far as I know. What could be some very controversially sized blocks? This one doesn't. The mob heads. Head. For example, the player head. It doesn't do this. The conduit. The conduit isn't even 16 by 16. What are we on about? Oh man, I believe I freaked that up. I believe we're going to remake the model real quick. You know what, we're just going to make... Though that is annoying as hell. Are there no blocks that have this? What block could there be that has this? Is there a hash for non-opaque? What the hell? Where even is hashtag? Hashtag opaque. Okay, that doesn't. Wait, no, this one's not going to have that either. This one is not going to have that either. See, also pixel correct. This one might have this. This one does. This is apparently the only block that has a hitbox. That I mean has pixels that are smaller than pixels are usually in Minecraft. And this one is a weird one because it seems like a pixel is 2/3 of a pixel, which would exactly match my present. And I mean exactly. However, I don't want this. I believe I don't want this. I believe we're going to make the present a full 10 pixels wide with a lid that is 12. I don't know if that will look good or if it won't, but it will match this better. That is for sure. And maybe that is too little. Maybe that is too little of an overhang. However, in the book it is also very subtle, and I'm not sure. Not sure what I should be thinking. Maybe it just looks like that. We're just going to, through texturing I can work. I might be able to work with it. We're going to change the entire model, but that is easy because that means that means I can just do that. Where do I work on it? Edit. In fact, we're going to make you 10. Then put you on 3, 3, and now we're going to remake the texture because it doesn't need to be this size. However, I believe otherwise it is scaled relatively appropriately. We're going to delete this texture. We're going to retexture every single block. side, top and bottom, everything. Technically, we could make a single texture for it, which would work. We need a texture that is... this texture is going to have a very weird resolution, I believe. Yeah. Most likely is going to have a very weird resolution. Now, how do we best do this? We're going to have to rearrange this stuff in a very weird fashion. I believe we're just going to make, because this is 12 wide, we're going to make it 24 by... We don't need 24 in height, because this is only... This is 2. Well, this is 3 and this is 6, so we need 9. And then this one would need 10, so we only need like 22 by 24. But I believe we could make it 24 by 24. Just so it has that, you know, somewhat of a default number, and then technically that would work. Yes, it would. Okay, let's do that. Yes. Let's open the texture in Paint. And let's texture it differently in size so that it works. Let's change the image size to freaking 24 by 24. Let's just do 24 by 24, bro. Because I can. Now these are probably just single pixels now. Yep. We're just going to wipe. We're going to use the default blue. Now, technically we'd need this a 12 by 12 square. 12 by 12. Actually, we can make the entire upper half of this blue. Then we need a square that is the same width, but only 3 high. Yes. And we need a square that is a rectangle, actually. That is this size. What the hell up, Spotify? I hate this. What has it come to that I have to reopen and close Spotify every 2 or 3 songs? And we're going to make a top texture. Indeed. Where? I believe this should be the width. So 10 by 10 would be like in this area here. I know, very weird and non-standard texture. Just going to make it like this. That is a very vanilla texture. Very unvanilla-ish. Extremely, in fact. We could make it more vanilla-ish by giving an outline to the top texture of the bottom part, and then that outline be the bottom texture of the top part. But what I believe we're going to do is we're going to actually use the top texture of the bottom texture of the bottom part, which I realize now doesn't actually need to be this size either. It actually needs to be this size. It doesn't. That is wrong. It needs to be like this. Now that would be the texture. This is bottom, top, side, different top. Indeed. Now I believe in order to make this look like a good texture, we're going to make it work like this. View up here and copy that in, and have you move it down. There we go. That should be decent texture. That is 4 pixels. That would be fun if I added like my tag here. That doesn't work. Sadly. Can't make a hidden one like Jeb did. In any case, just simplify this, and so I don't die when making this in the actual game. This is going to be the top texture. So this is going to be like black, I believe. We're not going to make it actually black. We're just going to make it really dark. Then we will use the default red, and we will just be doing this. And this is the bottom side. It also needs this. Oh shit. And so we can use the same texture for the present that is open and the one that is closed. So you're going to make present empty. That just doesn't have the lid. There we go. This should be it. For all the side and top and bottom textures, yes. Now currently these are the same, but we're going to make them different, I guess. So we're going to save this texture, of course. It'll be a bit larger than what we had. Now we're going to import this texture. Import texture, ignore. Now, we're going to first texture the bottom. Oh, I was just scared then. It is 6 by 10. What the fuck is this UV, bro? North, east, south, west, up, going to be EU. Right? Yes. And down. Perfect. I like this. Then we're going to take EU and we're going to do the exact same. North, east. Oh, it does work. South. West, up, down. A. Doesn't look too bad at all. Actually, that looks pretty decent. Not gonna lie. So on the display section, the display should be still the same. However, how can I change the hitbox? Can I change the hitbox? I believe I cannot. I can even give it an emission. Yeah. Oh, this is cool. This is cool, however, we forgot the lines. Maybe we didn't, because it actually makes sense. Even though it does actually not make sense. Because you wouldn't put a freaking slab of shit on it. That actually doesn't make any sense. Oh my god. Is it that bad? Is it really bad if we don't fix this? Or we fix this? If we kinda need to fix this. Shit. But because we have the space here. Oh god. To make this one 8 in size. God. Oh, wenn der Lid's on, der Lid's on.
Zum WM-Countdown beim Mediamarkt. Da gibt's 70 Tage vor der WM 80 Zoll TV-Angebot. Aber nur vom 3. bis 12. April 2026.
God damn it, I just got recoiled. Ah. Yeah, so we need to re-edit the texture. I hope it can do that. Like override it. I am stupid. We need to just literally extend this by 2. Can even separate it for easier access. Can I reload it? Refresh texture. Ah, yes. East, south, east. One. Oh, I was west. There we go. Perfect. Up, down. That's great. That's great. Perfect. That is great. That's great. Yo, so tiny. Perfect. I believe we can export. File export. Export block item model. To where's the JSON? Yes. Can I save model? Can I save project? Well, where could this be? Ah, it's nowhere in here. It's gotta save it on desktop. Got to make a new folder later. Wait, I don't even know why I closed this. So we're going to have the present JSON. I believe it's this. No, it's this one. It's not this one. It is this block present JSON. This one that we need to overwrite. Where's the block present? Oh sheesh. Where's the block present JSON? Where the frick is it? Oh, there it is. Just blind. Okay, overwrite. Now we need to just have the 0 be basically this. Okay, that. Why are the UVs wrong? Something's wrong here. I can feel it. Are these stretched? This is 3. This is 3 as well. Something here is probably stretched. But something is stretched. It isn't. And what are those coordinates? Yes, this is the 303, this is 262. This is the top 14, 9, 14. Exactly. This is from 303 to 13, 8, 13. 0, 8, 2. Why does this have whatever it is here? When I open the Blockbench project, it doesn't. It has 0. Hä?
Spür den Beat mit Premium. Du bist Fan spontaner
The UV is also not wrong. What? That is weird. It really does look like this. Why does it? Why does it? I don't really need to care about this, I guess. Unless it displays differently in game. I'm going to test that, of course. Of course we're going to test that. Who would I read not to test that? Also, where is my chat? Where is my chat replay? Come on. In hell. That is not what I want to say. I need the chat. Oh, frick. There we go. Blocked. Good. Started without errors at least. However, we can never be sure what errors we're going to see now. Exactly. Exactly what I thought. No. Not what I thought. Because texture is wrong. I've got to update the texture here. Hello? No. What? Did everything just give up on me right now? Hello. What is going on? I know it's still running. What the fuck? What? Oh my god, what happened to you? Like dead ass. My desktop is frozen. Why? Wait, is there a way I can try to reset my desktop? Yes, potentially. Oh hell no. What happened now? It's getting worse. What, how?
WM Countdown beim Mediamarkt. Da geht's 70 Tage vor der WM, 70 bis 80.
Okay, wait, we're gonna try something. Why can a drag and drop import frick that up so hard? This is impossible, bro. I can't even close. We'll have to kill it through Task Manager. I didn't think it would come this far. It has restarted. Did it save that? Oh my god, it is so goated. It is goated as hell. But did it already get the new texture? Is it the right one already? Is it the right texture? I hope it is. It seems to be. Non-opaque is already correct.
Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything.
Well, okay then.
All around my room, my world's so bright. It's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
God forbid someone import through drag and drop. This was scary as hell. It's working again though, and I'm happy about that. So that's all fine.
Take my eyes open to force reality. You just let me eat my weight in glee. I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days.
Oh, in the map level of 8. Yeah, no, that makes sense. The texture wants to be larger. What? Wait a second, wait a goddamn second, just stop. Untranslated item tags detected. Transfer viewers can probably display the format desired in. Is tag the item dot namespace dot. Ah, missing tag translations. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can probably translate the tags at some point. Okay. Wait, particles. Yeah, the particles do work. Perfect. Weird. In any case, it basically acts like a conduit. I mean, these can be placed in very extremely weird ways as well. So, placement-wise, it acts like a conduit. Otherwise, it adds very weird. Now I need to fix the hitbox. The freaking hitbox. I don't even know if I want to do this today, or if I want to find out my translation keys for the translation, I guess. ENUS. So I will probably make a new line for this. But not for sugar block, but for present. Now this is the thing. What do I put in the present? Right? Because you do have a present now and it has nothing in it. Also, how do you even craft? How do you even begin crafting a present? I believe it would require paper as well as 2 different dyes. Or maybe only 1 dye, I don't even know. Paper chest, kind of. Kind of, yeah, kind of a paper chest. Hello and good evening. How are you doing, man? Just going to make the present empty for now. Because I believe that exists. Isn't. I've been better. Kind of sick actually. So I don't have any idea what I have. Like, what my issue is, to say it like this. I have no idea what my issues are because yeah, I do sound sick, that I figured. Though this mic always kind of makes me sound a bit sick. In any case, I need to figure out how to do this. I did ask ChatGPT on how I can make Nah, I don't think I have AIDS. But it's weird, it's like usually when I get sick, it's not like this. It's a bit different than usually, at least feels different. It's weird because I haven't been cold or like, or cold or any way, shape or form. But I have an extremely runny nose, which is weird because usually that happens when you have a cold, right? Which I don't. Also, I have slightly scratchy throat. I don't know how to explain it properly. And my eyes are a bit doing weird stuff, and thus it almost seems like if I had a pollen allergy, but like extremely strong, and I've never had that. I mean, I do react to it, but not extremely much. I just get like my eyes just react to it a bit. Yes, and usually my eyes just itch when there's pollen or like the ominous Sahara dust in the air. But that started like 2 weeks ago or so, and it wasn't extreme, and I have eye drops for that actually don't do anything for after literally 5 minutes after I've taken them. They already have no effect, because the first 5 minutes my eyes are just extremely wet, so I don't notice anything, and after that it just doesn't do anything. But I honestly don't know. Also, what is this song? You can't even hear it. Ah, there it is. First 1.5 minutes of the song, literally quiet as hell, like silent. In any case, I don't even know if I want to continue on this, because I've reached my quota for today by half an hour. I've overdone it by half an hour. I'm not going to do anything anymore. Present. How do we commit this? Present. Block. Yep, it does. Also, the mic is positioned differently. You know, it does. It really does sound like garbage. But what can we do about that? Nothing. What? Oh, I changed the naming. No, I don't. It's not that I don't get this sick, it's just that I don't get sick in this way. I've never really had. Or I don't know if I've had this. I forgot to read my temperature. I've read it this morning. And it was fine. I mean, it was normal. But I forgot to do it this evening, and that is shit. So I will do it tomorrow morning. And if it's not normal, well, then there's nothing I can do. I'll just stay at home. It's Sunday. I'll just chill at home. And if I don't feel better by Monday, then I'm cooked. Why am I cooked? Because I need to go to work. And if I don't get to work, then I have too few hours. We'll just add present block with all changes. What's that? One warning. Is always sugar block. Yeah, shut your ass up. Quit anyway and push. Push. Perfect. 3 commits. When have I last pushed? That's crazy. All right. Yo. Nah, the issue is this is not a normal job. I basically do my military replacement work there, and technically if you... I don't know how it is there. But in military, if you're sick, you have to go to the doctor on the same day of you being sick, and then you have to get like you have to get like if there's like a form that you have to get filled out by the doctor that allows you to stay at home because you're not able to be transported. Now for my job this is probably different because I don't need to, because I don't live there. So if I'm sick I can always go home. Not like in the military where I'm just stationary there, and if I'm able to be transported I need to be sick in the military. Yeah, because I can't be sick on the job, I would just stay at home. So it's a bit, it's weird. I don't even know how it's regulated. I would have to Google that, but that's something to do for tomorrow if I'm still sick tomorrow. I mean, it might just go away overnight, who knows. But then the thing is, if I'm sick and I'm allowed to stay at home, even if I get the form filled out by a doctor, which I might have to do, then I would still not get those days counted into my work days. So I'd basically have like 8 hours of work that I'd have to redo some point. I believe 8 hours and 40 minutes, or 8.4 hours, so 8 hours and like 20 minutes or whatever. That wouldn't be 20 minutes, that would be like 24 minutes, but no, that can't be it then. It's something plus minus 8 hours that I would be missing for every day, and that I'd have to redo. I believe it's 8 hours every day that I would then have to do at some other day. Now I believe I get off the job on a Thursday, which is probably done because they want that Friday to be like the reserve day if I have too little hours, which I'm currently like, I believe I'm currently 18 minutes in the negative that I'd have to stay longer, or 18 minutes that I'd have to come on that Friday. morning at 7:30. And stay there for 18 minutes before I can go back home, which is useless and stupid. I'm basically technician in a school for special kids, I guess. And I basically do everything. So, you know, it's quite, you know, it's not extremely physical, but it's mainly physical work. So it wouldn't be very great if I was sick. If I was like in an office, it wouldn't be great, but it would be manageable. But like this, No, I don't have a Thursday off. I have a Friday off. The last Friday, I end the job on a Thursday because that Friday is the reserve day if I don't have all the time done by that day. Because the week after I leave, they will have another guy that basically replaces me. So that's why I have to leave. If that wasn't the case, I would be staying there for another 3.5 weeks longer, but they weren't able to give me that time because that dude was already there before I registered, which is stupid because I don't know, bro. Why can't they overlap us? Like, why can't they, or why can't I don't know, work somewhere else there? Because I don't want to change places because nobody's going to take me for 3.5 weeks. I believe the minimum is 4, so I do overtime 3 days or so. I would get paid, but I don't want to work longer than I really have to. And I'd have to also get used to a new place that is probably further away because they don't have any space anymore anywhere nearby. And there's barely anything that you do not need, like a course that takes a day or two, or like how to treat people and elders, or how to work with special machinery. Except for the one that I'm in, and it is also the closest one to me. So this is so stupid. I mean, we didn't do military drills in the morning, but that is kind of the sad thing. I mean, in the beginning we did, but then everything else was kind of better. It was actually technically way worse in the beginning, but it was way more fun because we were around people that were more fun. We had a very strict and structurized planning, and everything was just very structured, except for the 1 or 2 times that they just trolled us. No, actually the trolling wasn't the bad bit. The bad part was when they trolled us, and then it was the reverse troll, and it actually was our final test kind of and that one was physically very demanding, probably the most demanding part of the military, apart from the 15 and 30 kilometer march that we did, which was also stupid because it's stupid. But yeah, then later after we moved for the first time, it was already shit, which is when I wanted to actually leave. I didn't want to leave, I wanted to change the service model to be short service, and then just go to the military every year for the next 6 years or so for like 3-4 weeks, which would have probably been shit as well. But then I just left because they can't do anything about that. But if I want to change the service model, they can do something about that. But because the higher up that was the major that was supposed to work, that I was supposed to write this, the head of our company was basically told me to write him directly if I want to change. Yeah, I did long service, which is all the service in one go, and short service is you do the first 18 weeks and then you do another 4 weeks for like 6 years or so. But I wanted to change from long to short because short service would have meant I could have left like literally a week after that because it was like the 17th week and week 18 would have been the end. But then I would have had to go again this year for like 4 weeks. But that wouldn't have been an issue. The issue would have been during school when I'd have to go through during holidays, which would have been shit, but I could have worked with that, I guess. But because the major was a bitch and then told me this didn't come to him on the right, correct way of how an official document has to be written to him, he just didn't even look at it. And I feel like he was being stupid because it was an urgent one, because we had less than a week of time for him to decide if we could leave, and because he didn't let us leave, we had to stay. So I guess his move was pretend to ignore it, because apparently something is wrong, even though the head of our company told us to write him directly, because he's not the one that decides this. We should write him directly. This is I believe he was actually right. It was correct to write him directly, but the other dude just said, no. You have to do this on the default way. So we'd have to give it to our sergeant, which would have given it to his new lieutenant. Then that dude would have given it to the head of our company, which we could have written to ourselves too. And then he would have given it to him. But what's different if we just give it to him directly? He literally approved it. The person that would have received it before the major approved of it. And then the major was like, nah, you have to give it to him through 3 other people first. That is so dumb. It's so stupid. And then me and like another guy just left like 2 weeks later. And another third dude left like another 2 weeks later because he was not able to get an info day scheduled this early. We did, luckily. So this is stupid. Yeah, it's unnecessary extra steps, and I believe he was just trying to gatekeep the short service model from us. And now, well, now what does he have from it? We left. Sadly, we didn't leave under his like under his leadership, because we were transferred to another company. So those dudes got fucked because we were like the most important people in this entire thing, because we drove the tanks, and now they have more tanks than drivers. So I don't know, when they have to give the tanks back to the military, to the station where they have all the items and vehicles, when they have to give that stuff back, they have to just drive twice, because there's more vehicles than there's people, and the other people can't drive them, except if they can get the sergeants to drive, which would probably be enough people. But the sergeants our sergeants for the tank driver peoples, well, they lost their licenses, their military licenses, I believe, and because they were in prison, in military prison for more than 2 or so days, and if you do that, then you lose your military driver's license. So that is crazy. Yeah, so in to keep it short, they were basically being stupid, but now they are the ones that got fucked pretty much. And also, our service got shortened because we left the military, because long service is more days than short service. No, is it not? No, it is longer. I believe long service is like 55 days longer. I don't even know how he lost the license. They did stupid shit and they both went to prison for like 3 days or so. That's after 2 days, I believe, you lose your license. They went for 3 or so. Or is it after 5? and they went for 6. I don't know. Anyways, he did drive us around. He still can drive. He's just technically not allowed to, but who cares? Not in a tank though, in a regular vehicle, but that would have not been allowed either. But the thing is, my service got shortened because I left, because the way the days are calculated for people that do the military replacement service, which is what I'm doing, need to do 1.5 times as many days. However, because it's calculated by the days of short service, which is 55 days shorter than long service, I effectively get, because I already did more than half of it, the rest of the days I did like, what would that be, like 20 weeks? That would be 140 days, so I'd have like 105 left, which times 1.5, as you can see, is only 157. That actually doesn't quite work. Then it's probably been more than 20 weeks, or it's less than those days, but I got like a week shorter, or 1.5 than if I have had continued the military. Now he is crazy that you still know about that, dude. He is still in military. However, he did lose his military license. He is actually very lucky he didn't lose his civil driver's license, because usually or often, sorry, maybe because I closed Spotify, I don't know, or because I touched the mic. Yes, so he lost his military license. He didn't lose his civil license. Usually people that do shit like this often also lose their civil license, but he was apparently able to talk himself out of it and told them he lost control of the vehicle, like unintentionally. Well, obviously it's unintentionally. You idiot, you don't flip a G-Class intentionally. Who would do that? I think had a worth on paper of a bit more than 100k, I believe, or maybe just around that, new. So that's what he would have had to pay. If he would have had to pay up to, I believe, there's a certain percentage, up to, I believe, 80%, or whatever it is, you have to pay. You can be forced to pay up to a certain percentage. Nah, I don't believe he did, because that is handled by the police, the military police, and also I believe the one of the instructors of the drivers there. So that was 2 different parties, completely separate, that had to talk this out with him in the room, and then he also had to like give his view to the situation. And they also analyzed the black box, I believe, from the vehicle, which should have technically told them that he was very much driving over the speed, over the limit of what he could have done. He was driving on an off-road track, and he, according to the other 2 guys that were in the car with him, he was going at about like 40 to 50 kilometers an hour on an off-road road, and then just like tried to do a McQueen by going right by turning left. But apparently the only thing that turned was the vehicle in the wrong axis, not just the wrong way. Well, yeah. So I have no idea how he got out of it that well. He was probably very nice, and he also didn't have any earlier, well, issues with the police and stuff. The military police, obviously none of us had any, as far as I know. But he paid like $200 or so, or 500. No, I believe he paid 500, which is like extremely low for what he did, because if he could have paid up to multiple 10,000s. Yeah, no, I don't even know why. I mean, we were doing that too, and the other dudes in the other car almost crashed into us. Because they tried to do like a J turn, I guess. It wasn't even a full U-turn, it was like just a little bit, but the blood missed the brake pedal and accidentally pressed on the gas before noticing, luckily early enough, and almost crashed into our car. There was like less than a meter of space in between his hood and our rear bumper, so that was a bit crazy. Yeah, he probably did put all his points in charisma. But he should have probably leveled luck instead. Or common sense, I don't even know. In any case, another guy crashed while parking. He I don't even know. I don't know if he reversed or if he went in forward. But then I believe he reversed out of the hall of where the tanks were with a smaller vehicle for people, like a transport vehicle for people. No, he was actually a good driver. That was just he kind of, I don't know, he miscalculated the way he should have turned and clipped the radio box of a tank, but he was actually a crazy good driver otherwise. And he scratched almost the entire side of the vehicle. I don't know how he didn't see it, and he didn't really know how he didn't see it either because he had a mirror, so I don't even know. Yeah, no, he was basically on parking. He wasn't parking technically, but I mean, he was also parking the larger vehicles, and nothing ever happened. So I don't know. I mean, he literally drove on the same day, and apart from taking a wrong turn somewhere, which many others did too, I believe he was going pretty fine. But this dude paid like 100 or 200, and the damage was also in the thousands. He bent the radio box. Luckily it didn't damage the electronics behind it, because then it would have gotten very expensive. And I mean, it was already very expensive, but then it would have gotten really expensive. The damages, at least. What he would have had to pay, probably not very expensive. Maybe 300-400, but definitely not much more. Because, I mean, the dude that flipped the G-Class paid 500. So, just to put that into perspective. And that was like actually just could have been so easily avoided. What he did while parking, I guess, could have been too, but it's just a mistake that can happen, I believe. I mean, it's not as unusual as flipping a G-Class. He paid way less, and the damages were a few thousands, because he bent the radio box, which was the less expensive part, but he scratched an entire side panel and slightly bent the entire thing of this transport vehicle. No, he didn't scratch the tank, he scratched the other vehicle, the smaller transport vehicle. Wait, maybe I can show an image. There. Wait, do we have a good view? This is what he had. Shite, bro, just go. Can I not? There we go. This is a very low-res image. He scratched this panel. And this is one panel across the entire side. And this vehicle is like 6 meters and a bit in length. So there's like more than 3 meters of panel he scratched all the way through, and it was slightly dented in. Oh wait, I'm stupid, I'm not even showing it. This is the vehicle he scratched. This here, the panel here, this rear one. And it was a bit dented in because obviously the radio box is not just half a millimeter of steel. But I believe the main part, because the main part of why it was such an expensive, so expensive in technical damages, not what he had to pay, but the damage was so high, is not because he bent the panel, which also definitely did. Yeah, that was definitely also expensive, but I believe the almost more expensive part was that the paint that he scratched is an extremely durable paint, because it's crazy. The paint looked like you had just, I don't know, it was barely noticeable in paint, but the entire side was dented in, and they would have had to repaint that. It does look goofy, but that's what we... no, we did actually learn to drive tanks first. Maybe there's like high-res images, that's how they look. That's how the old ones look, that were still manual and had older engines and stuff, but we never drove those, we only drove the new ones. That's what we drove. That's, I believe, the last vehicle we learned to drive. With one single driving lesson. Ah, shite. Can I just open graphic in new tab? Yeah, that's what we learned to drive. Same company that does the smaller ones. Just this has this on top. Which is a 50 cal machine gun that has down below here there's a seat with a controlling joystick and panel that has night vision, extremely high zoom, stabilization, target lock, automatic reload, or no, not reload but load. And it is technically really crazy, but we didn't ever really use it for anything that crazy. We did try the stabilization once while shooting with real ammo, and someone apparently actually managed to shoot one of the antennas. Not one of us, but somebody told us that they had actually managed to shoot an antenna on one of these things, because it is crazy unlikely you shoot a 5mm thick steel rod with that while moving, while stabilization. No, I did shoot it, of course I did. I shot like 200 rounds. No, maybe not, but like 100 rounds with that thing. No, not 100. Nah, maybe I did. Or maybe it was just 50. I don't know how many we had per person. And then there's the this one. This tank is what we learned to drive on. This is the first vehicle I drove in military, by the way. This. This is what we first drove. And first shot. No, I believe we shot on the rifles first, but this is the first thing I drove. And it has the same machine gun on it as the other one has, but it doesn't have all the electronics. You have to turn this shit by hand with 2 hand cranks that you have to just turn around. But it is a bit... it's not... it is almost nicer to reload because you don't have to climb all the way out. No, you don't have to climb out all the way on the other one too, I believe. But it's not very nice to get out because that little door here is extremely small and really heavy. I mean, for the driver it's decent. for the passengers, if it's filled with like 8 people back here with stuff in it, it's not very comfortable anymore. And if you're the guy that sits on the seat below this thing, and the others and you have like full all stuff with you, and then the driver and the commander's stuff is also back there, then it's very little space, because the only way you can store stuff apart from under the seats and behind the seats, which is where the other people that are in here store their stuff, you have to basically throw it in front of the guy that shoots. So you don't have much space, and also the ammo boxes are literally to your feet. And if you have longer legs, you cannot very well turn to the right side. If you turn to the left side, you're almost surely going to hit the guy that sits next to you on the left side. So this is a bit tight inside, but if you don't have stuff with you, it's actually pretty nice. I mean, the rear seats aren't comfortable, like that comfortable, because you're moving sideways, so you don't really get support when blood is braking or accelerating that drives. So I did have to do an almost emergency, like I did have to do an emergency braking once in a real situation. I was luckily only going slightly faster than like walking speed, but there was one blood that flew through like half the entire inside, because they obviously couldn't put on their safety belts with the stuff they had in them. Also, it was a very short drive on barely public roads, so they didn't really bother. But blood literally almost flew up to the front, which is a bit not very nice. And I only had to do this because the guy at the barrier of the entrance or the exit of our military base was just, I don't know, he just stepped out backwards onto the road, not caring that a freaking, oh, how heavy are these things? Like a 13-ton heavy tank is coming right in his direction, because there was another guy in front of me. I was the second or third tank, and he just didn't think that if there's one or two, there might be more. Stupid. I almost ran that guy over. And he didn't even notice it. He didn't even notice that I almost ran him over. Even when I was past him, I looked in the mirror and this dude was just chilling there. And the guys in the back, I heard all of them like screaming and complaining, why the hell are you braking? I don't know. He stepped on the road backwards. You never do that. And the barrier was open. At least wait until the barrier is closed. That's why the barrier is there. So nobody can go through, and if it's open, there's somebody probably going through. Because the barrier isn't operated by the guys that are standing at the barrier. There's another guy inside somewhere that has a switch for opening and closing the barrier. So they have to tell him to open the barrier. Or if he sees that somebody is exiting, he will open the barrier. But Blood just didn't care. In any case, I should stop talking about this because I've already overdone it by an entire hour. So, it's enough about ranting about the stupid people in the military. To be honest, the guy that almost got run over, okay, it's not that stupid, but it's still stupid to almost die. So, I guess, better not do that. Yeah, but in any case, I will get myself out of here. Well, technically, yeah. I probably could have been. To be fair though, he probably wouldn't be able to defend himself if I told him he ran over on the road backwards, because he would have probably been, well, he would have probably not been anymore. Or at least not all of him would have been anymore. Depending on how I would have hit him. He would have potentially gotten under my wheel, and then there would be another 3 wheels following. Or at least one, because there's a bit of space between the first 2 and the second 2 wheels, but still. So the other guy standing there could have defended him, but I believe he would have also been able to tell that he just walked out backwards. Though that dude, I don't know if he told him that he just almost got run over or not. But they seemed pretty chill after I left, so I don't know. How did they also not notice? It's an 8-cylinder, 5-point-something liter 2-stroke diesel engine that isn't quiet. Let me tell you, if you drive that thing without ear protection, you are almost certainly going to have a hearing damages. Even I did with ear protection notice that that is not very quiet. And I was braking, and the brakes are also loud because it's brakes that are found on trucks and stuff that work with compressed air, so they aren't quiet either. I don't even know how oblivious you can be to not notice getting run over by a tank. It's crazy. It's impossible, bro. I don't even know what that engine is. Like, let me actually... I'm just making myself take longer here. The Piranha 8x8. There should probably be like the exactly the military vehicles thing. I've been on here quite a few times. This is actually crazy stats. I mean, if you look at it, why is this not text? This is weird. I can't even mark anything. If we look at this, I've been on this quite a few times. Oh, it's a 6-cylinder, not an 8-cylinder. Sorry, it's a 6-cylinder. I had that in mind wrong. I believe they do swap an 8-cylinder into it though. Upon an actual war situation, or maybe just a more powerful 6-cylinder. However, the crazy shit about this thing is it is able to go up 40% and 35%. Like if you have 0 and then, how can I show this? You have 0 and then the angle here, you can drive up like 40% is not that much, but you can drive an immediate 40% up. So that is as you can see, the tip of it is like very pointy, and it has that angle here, and you can go up 40% before this shit touches, or this shit touches, and on the back it's 35, which is crazy. I believe we never actually went to the max, but we did go up quite steep hills and mostly down. But it can go up 70%, which 70% is crazy. I mean, 70% upwards is like 30 degrees or something, 35 maybe. That is pretty steep. And 35% sideways, so that is also pretty crazy. That's, I don't know, 15 degrees, maybe 20 degrees of angle sideways. That is pretty crazy for such a top-heavy vehicle. But that's where the engine is what's important, right? It's a 6-cylinder, 90-degree, 2-stroke turbo diesel, water-cooled. It is a long stroke, not short. That is it's over. Is it over or under square if the stroke is longer? I don't even know. Which is a weird thing, because that means they built the engine for power, not for torque. right? No, that's for torque and not power, I believe. Yes. They built it for torque because, I mean, hey, that's a crazy shit. It's a diesel, of course, it has torque. It has torque to the moon, of course. But it has 5.215 liters of um, displacement, exactly. And it makes 284 horsepower and 850 newton meters. So that is some crazy torque. Like, very crazy torque. It is really crazy. Yeah. It is diabolical. Oh! No. Wait. Bro, what is this crazy I didn't even know it had all that. They didn't even tell us the coolest shit about this thing. It has... Well, it obviously has a... It has an Allison gearbox. I didn't even know. Why the f... An Allison gearbox, which is a... Well, obviously it is a... how is that called? It's a load shifting gearbox. So if you put too much load on it, it will downshift if possible. It's 5-speed with 1 reverse, and the reverse is longer than first but shorter than second. So the first gear is basically the first gear is basically up and downhill. The first gear goes up until like, I don't even know. I think it can't hit 10 kilometers an hour on the first gear. Or maybe just barely. I'm not sure though. It doesn't go fast on first gear. It's literally just like an up and downhill gear, so you don't break your fucking brakes when doing extreme steep up and down hills. But the cool shit is actually... It is... hydraulical clutches, okay. Torque converter with like a clutch that can completely like overgo this and stuff. Then the cool shit is it has freaking 4 differentials that are all the same. Of course, it has 4 axes, but the cool shit is they're limited slip differentials. They're not open. I didn't know that, but that would explain that it is even off-road capable, because with fully open differentials, even 4 axes are not going to help you. I believe. But this is crazy. It has also got single wheel suspension. I don't even know how that is translated. It's not a I don't know. Is it double wishbone? It is probably not. I believe it's a single wishbone. Yeah, probably, but it's not like a an axle through it. No, this is crazy. I'm reading this for the first time. I did look at the engine at one point, but I didn't look at the other shit. This is crazy. The tires also, the tires are by Michelin. Yes, yes, yes. And they are massive, but 16-inch rims, so 9 by 16-inch. That is like what you would put on a Miata. That is pretty much what everyone does. So you could basically swap tank rims on a Miata. It would probably be unsprung mass would have been massive, but who cares? It has drum brakes. That also explains the extremely poor braking performance, but we knew that. But it is a hydraulic brake. Which is why you can't drive it sometimes if it's been standing for long, because the pressure reservoir, the air pressure thingy is obviously not 100% tight and loses pressure to a point of below, I believe, 6 bar or 5 or so. The brakes won't even open anymore, so you can't drive. Or not very well. So I did once have to repark tanks that we parked somewhere like 2 months in advance or so. Probably not, but like at least a month in advance they parked them somewhere else, and then we had to repark them. I was just not able to go, and then I looked at the dial and the gauge, and it just said like 4 or 3 bar, and then I had to just like rev that shit in neutral. Stupid. 12 person. Yes, 12. No, it's 9. Oh yeah, no, I'm stupid. It's not the same amount of people. 9, not 8, because it's the side that is the left side. So the left side of the vehicle has a slightly longer bench to sit on, because on the right side the guy that shoots has the seat slightly more on the right hand side, because the weapon is also slightly more on the right, I believe. At least that would make sense, otherwise it would not really work, and thus the people that sits there can't really, sit as far up front. Also, there's the ammo boxes are stored on the right. Yeah. That's crazy. Crazy. And that's the weapons specs. It also has nebula like throwers, like cannons. I don't know if you can see them on this image. There is these ones. There are 8 like can-sized, like food can-sized things that are very sensitive to static electricity, because that's apparently how they're fired. No, I don't even know. they're sensitive to static electricity, and they are we are not allowed to fire them except for very special occasions, like the where our relatives can visit us in the military, and for extremely special exercises potentially. I don't know though, because these do burn at like 1,000 degrees or something, and even the exercise ones are very dangerous. And one of our sergeants told us he had accidentally, he was told to shoot, but there is like safety regulations for these shits, so you are only allowed to shoot them if there is, I believe, 150 meters of clear space of that is clear of any friendly troops. So there has to be this space in obviously in a non-war scenario. There has to be this amount of space in front of the vehicle before you're able to shoot, and also in a specific angle and all that shit. And he was told to shoot, but he was unsure if that was really 150 because there was somebody standing there, or I guess maybe multiple people, but one in particular. And he believed he was close, but the sergeant, because he was still a soldier back then, I believe, or in or being in training. It is because it does make a huge smoke cloud that lasts for a while, a few seconds, I believe half a minute or so. Or for half a minute if it's effective, or maybe not even, maybe 20 seconds or so. It's not effective for very long, but it stays there for very long. It just gets like dispersed by winds and shit. But it burns so hot that if you're in the center of that cloud, you're being literally cooked alive. That's why there's nobody allowed to stand there. Even with exercise ammo, it's very dangerous because it does still burn very hot to make that smoke. And the bloods that when they had to shoot, and that guy said he wasn't sure if there is 150 of distance, there really wasn't, and he shot, and there was a like a higher up, I don't know, I believe higher than lieutenants, probably, I don't know, I don't even know how the grades are in English, but somebody of a higher rank was there, and he accidentally, because he shot, because the other guy wasn't far away, he caught fire. His one of his clothing pieces caught fire. He was able to put it out because it was only a very small thing, but like a piece of the a burning piece of I don't know if it was like a piece of grass or anything directly from the thrower that that hit his clothes, and then he was set on fire. And luckily the soldier wasn't cooked, or our future sergeant wasn't cooked, because he almost cooked someone. But because the dude that told him to shoot was so was forcing him to shoot so much, then actually that guy was cooked, I believe. But if you were to cook food in there, I believe you would just get a steak on level congratulations, if you know what I'm saying. This is one of the longest streams I've done in a while, and I'm freaking sick. I should really go. It's almost midnight for me, so that's like actually it for today though. So I will despawn. And next time We're going to try to figure out if I can fix the hitboxes of my gift block with either overrides or some other tricks to make smaller hitboxes. Exactly. And then now I will go to bed and wake up tomorrow and hopefully not be sick anymore. Yes. In fact, very wise words. Very wise words. So yes. Yay. Thank you. I already drank half the bottle that I usually don't ever even touch during the stream, barely. But yes, I will. Thank you. And until next week.